now introducing, from Amador Valley High School, AmadorUAVs.
During the design of our new drone this year, safety was a main concern. We decided to keep the batteries as accessible as possible in the event of a crash for easy removal so that we could prevent any fires from spreading in case those cells got punctured. Additionally, the arms that go into the latch clamps, we needed to increase the friction there so the motors didn't turn during any heavy accelerations, so we added carbon paste there. Additionally, for the motor clamps where the motors were directly connected to, we used both epoxy on the clamps themselves and then lock washers on the bolts, just so that nothing would come loose mid-flight.
While working with the electrical stack of the drone, we make sure to have multiple people double check every wire before powering up to reduce the risk of shorts, while also having female connectors on the live wires of the drone. We have neon tape on the front of the drone to clearly see it from the ground. And finally, we make sure to have our batteries stored in ammo cases while not in use, and while charging, we have them in appropriately rated LiPo bags.
During the assembly of the drone, we have to latch together the top and bottom plates, so we always make sure that there are no fingers or components in between the latches. Additionally, we also have to make sure that the motors are always pointing up so that the drone doesn't fly in erratic ways. And we also use zip ties to prevent the exterior wires from getting in the way of the props during flight. And we also use lock washers to make sure that none of the screws on the drone vibrate and come loose during flight.
To avoid crashing the drone, we have many redundancies in place, pre-flight and on the flight line, to make sure that the code works as intended. Before the flight, we run SITL testing, or software in the loop, to make sure that the drone does not unexpectedly crash into any obstacles. We also run HITL testing on the Jetson to make sure that the Pixoc can take over the Jetson if it loses power or computing capacity and continue our flight or return to land. On the flight line, we're able to manually switch to return to land mode if our drone is about to make any incorrect decisions, or our pilot can use the RC to return to land or manually take over the drone.
Before each flight test, we make sure to get clearance through the Aloft app to inform the FAA. We then check the wind speed and make sure it's below 20 miles per hour. To start setting up the drone, we do the calibration of compass, accelerometer, gyroscope, and level horizon to make sure the drone knows where it is in its environment in space. We also perform a test to make sure all motors are safely fastened and will not rotate in flight. During flight, we make sure not to go below 20 volts, or about 80% of the battery, so that the drone will have sufficient power to not fall out of the sky. Upon landing, we make sure to check batteries again, check for any damage, and safely pack up all of the batteries and ammo cases.